Hey everyone, welcome back to the Rawhide Roundup. I'm your host, Heather Dallas, and been on a short hiatus, but we are back with some new episodes, and we are kicking it off with what I would call the Oklahoma power couple. I've got Dillon and Morgan Satterwhite. They are dealers of our Rawhide portable corrals in Stillwater, Oklahoma, but they are movers and shakers. They are in and busy, and they are involved in a lot of things, and I have been very excited to do this podcast and to hear more about what they're involved in and how they got started in this ag business and how they've remained so successful and so very busy. So without further ado, let's welcome Dillon and Morgan to the podcast.
Hey, y'all.
Hi.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me. I know that it is hard to find free time in your life. You're a little bit busy.
Just a smidge.
It rained a
I
bunch
know.
last night and this morning. That helps.
Oh, so the rain is on our side. Hey, that's
That's
good
right.
timing. We planned this accordingly.
Yes.
Good. Well, I have enjoyed learning about you guys just even since you started as dealers. I want to say, has it been a year and a half, over a year, or has it even been that long since you've been with Rawhide?
It hasn't quite been a year and a half, a little bit over a year.
So. Yeah, around a year.
Yeah. Gotcha. I know you're kind of in that group of guys that we picked up after after I had started. And so Wyatt, our salesman, had kind of told me some stories about you guys and how he knew you'd be great dealers, and he'd visited with you at some farm shows. And once we got you guys going and I was learning about you, I'm like, yeah, you guys have your hand in a little bit of everything in Stillwater and more. So, okay, so let's get a quick recap here while I'm talking about everything you're involved in. Top Hand Ag Equipment is your ag equipment dealership. That's where Rawhide falls into. So just a quick recap, what else are you guys selling with your Top Hand Ag Equipment?
We started out as Hydrobed, the Hydrobed dealer, Triple C Manufacturing. Their bell beds, cake boxes, the flakers, the square bell flakers, things like that. But we were also pretty interested because one of our other businesses is in the oil and gas side of things, and their real lift bed, which was a pretty new product to the market, and honestly didn't have much competition. It fits a niche market with the directional boring, and with the initiative to bring fiber optic and high speed internet across the Midwest. The fiber optic is a market that has really exploded here across Oklahoma, Kansas, Texas in the last several years. So we wanted to kind of get ahead of that because we were already doing a bunch of utility locating for those customers. Hand in hand, guys we were already doing work with are now running the real lift beds. In With those beds, we also had picked up C5 manufacturing out of Kingman, sometimes better known as the old Cannonball beds. Now they're owned and named after C5 manufacturing. They make a few different specific models that are pretty well known. They've been around a long time. They kind of rebranded and renamed after ownership changed, but it's the same product. Same manufacturing facility, same welders, a lot of the same staff that have been there, for a decade are still there. So they're still pumping out great product that fits, another niche market depending on what people want, simply because the style of bed that they build, it's a little bit unique and different as it's dumping like a dump truck style flatbed as well. Most bell beds don't do that, so you don't, it doesn't fit everybody's need. But when you have your core group of customers that want those, Morgan's parents, specifically, that's what they run. They're diehard believers in them, and have been for a long time. In addition to those, heavy built HMI manufacturing, heavy built down in Colgate, Oklahoma. They make overhead bins, overhead grain bins. They make pull type sprayers, hay trailers. They make, again, oil and gas production tanks, saltwater tanks, crude oil tanks, things that fit a variety of different markets that we were already in. Best Way Ag sprayers, smaller ATV style sprayers. They make some bigger sprayers. We don't deal as many of them, but a lot of the ATV sprayers, UTV sprayers, we sell. You know, Honestly, as we've built this, then we got into rawhide and a few others. As we've built this, um, it came easy because she'll tell you I'm terrible about hanging on to equipment. I don't keep anything very long. I may trade tractors 3 times a year because I'm in a never-ending quest to get something just a little bit nicer, a little bit newer, or a little bit more functional for our operation. And as we've learned and grown our cow-calf operation, we've come across things that honestly, we needed a piece of equipment, and when we get it, we see the pros and cons of it, and maybe there's another style or brand out there that actually does a little bit better job. And so, in trading and rotating across, we came to find out the brands that we wanted to be part of because we've pretty much trial run every brand on the market. We've tried them all, we've owned them all, we've tore up most of them. So when you find a set that fits our application to a T and becomes a very Swiss Army knife style piece of equipment for an operation that is also applicable for friends or customers, that just doesn't tear up. When you find good quality product, we decide that that's what we want to be part of, and if we're going to market it, we've built these businesses from the ground up with really no help other than just mostly the two of us and doing it ourselves. And
A wonderful office staff.
well, a good staff, absolutely. Well, so in our quest to kind of continuously find equipment that fits our operation, and our operation intermingles with quite a few others around here locally. A lot of guys, we help each other work cattle. Got some friends up north Osage country that will go up and help them spring work, fall work, and out in the panhandle. We kind of like to travel and cowboy a couple of days at a time. It's a little mini vacation for us. Kind of our style is if we get a few days off, we're going to go work for free somewhere else for somebody else. That seems to be our getaway. But no, you see a lot of different operations. You see a lot of different ways of doing things, and you learn some things. You learn things that work for us and things that don't. But we flip a lot of equipment, just trying to find things that fit and work better in our operation, things that are safer. Especially a lot of times Morgan may be out trying to catch something by herself or processing a set of cattle by herself or with minimal help because I'm out of town working. And our little girl, she's 5. You have to take that into consideration. So when you talk about bell beds, when you talk about mixers, when you talk about grain bins, when you talk about any of the products that we sell, it's products that we can stand behind. One, because we've tore up most of the competition. We've had them, we've broke them, we've fixed them, and we've gone again. And these systems aren't all perfect either. We have failures. It's part of it. But overall, it's how does the equipment function? How does the equipment hold up? And how does the manufacturer stand behind it? And that has been the biggest thing for us. That's how we've come to select the brands that we want to represent. From the manufacturers, we want them to know that we work hard for them. We work hard to make this still a success, but it's a team effort from the guys welding panels and the guys installing tires, the guys putting hydraulics on bell beds, all the way down to the end consumer, right? It's an endless chain, and if that doesn't go flawlessly, you're going to have problems. And when you have problems, the end customer's the one upset, and that ultimately just snowballs back on us. Mm-hmm. So we don't want to sell things that we can't stand behind. We don't sell things that we don't believe in, brands that we don't believe in. And honestly, we've weeded out some product that was pretty decent product simply because the company wouldn't stand behind their product. I'll stand behind it if I sell it, but if we can't get the right customer service from the manufacturers, from the plants, from the ownership down, it's probably just not a good fit for us because it's a handshake deal. We're kind of an old school handshake on most everything we do, and our word means a lot to us. It means a lot around here locally, and so when I sell you a rawhide system or a hydrobed bell bed or an overhead bin, I want you to know that you're getting the best that money can buy, the best bang for the buck for sure. than something that we've probably run and tore up and tested, and it's going to serve the purpose that you have or the need that you have. Um, if it doesn't, I'm going to shoot you straight and say, hey, I don't think this thing fits your application. And I guess that's helped us build a lot of rapport with customers across several states at this point, because they know when
the Sunday evening breakdowns of, hey, I'm in a bind.
In an ice storm, in a snowstorm, call me, hey, we've got something's wrong. I can't get this thing to work. The one thing that you get with us, and we like to tell everybody, is, you call me at 8 p.m. on a Saturday or 10 a.m. on a Sunday. I'm going to answer the phone if I'm not in church or if we're not in a meeting or something. If we don't answer, I tell everybody it's because I'm probably on the other line. I'll call you back in a couple minutes, or I'll shoot you a text and tell you, hey, on another call, I'll call you back. And if I got to jump in the pickup and come help you get the thing folded up or working or fixed, it is what it is, right? Because I understand that your operation is every bit as important as ours is. And when a guy's got a chute loaded with cattle, that's not a time for getting a 1-800 number and they say they'll call you back on Monday. It's got to happen. It's got to happen now. So it's made it pretty easy to weed out the weaker brands, or just really the product that's not as good or doesn't meet the standards that we've set.
Well, I'm glad you guys ended up with a rawhide. I think we've kind of heard you kind of went through that similar process with rawhide, and then did you have a friend that had a rawhide that you were able to use? Is that how you heard about us?
Yeah, we tore up one of the competitions.
A couple. I know we've owned 4 other sets of portables, 4 different brands, 4 other styles over the last 10 years.
And if we didn't tear them up, it took a horse or a 4-wheeler to fold them in, which really tends to make me mad.
Some just weren't tough enough, strong enough. Some just weren't as practical. And so it's not that somebody else doesn't make a good product. It's when you look at all aspects of the product, which one overall is just the best fit, maybe the best, the highest standards that are held, the best manufacturing, the best quality control, going through and double checking. And again, we're all imperfect. So when something comes in or something gets delivered to a customer or they have a warranty issue, that ability to say, I don't know, let me make a call and I'll get this figured out for you. I've probably got parts on the shelf to rebuild that thing. I'll get them coming. You let me handle that with the manufacturer. But, I called the office. I talked to Mary. I talked to Wyatt. And they're like, hey, no problem. We'll get it taken care of. Get the customer taken care of. We'll get parts coming to you. And that is the kind of service that I want back in me if I'm going to put my name on the line for their product. And the customer sees that mesh between us, and then they know that they made the right choice. It may or may not come at a higher price point, but at the end of the day, you get what you pay for, and the quality and after the point of sale is worth it. It's a value at that point.
Sure. Well, we've definitely appreciated you guys as dealers and your communication and how well you do work with the customers. So it's been a great deal all around, and I think you've been a great fit. So we're glad to have you working with us. So let's go back. I want to, go backwards a little bit on your guys' background. So, in the ag industry, we all get started in different ways, and some people come in late to the business. Some people grew up with it, and you both have grown in and around the ag industry in a way, leading up to starting your own businesses. And so give us a quick recap, each of you, of kind of, what your background was leading up into how you guys are now.
Go ahead.
So I'm from Southwest Oklahoma. My parents farm and ranch for a living, still do. My sister, after college, moved back home and is there full time. Her boyfriend's there as well. And so being rooted from a very early age, from a custom spraying and application to crop production, wheat specifically, some alfalfa, to cattle operation, which led into heavily involved in 4-H and FFA. We traveled all over the country. We're very blessed, my sister and I. that had parents that worked for themselves and could haul us all over the country. We tell everybody that there was one year, my senior year, her freshman year, we hauled 48 weekends that year
Oh my
to
goodness.
stock show somewhere. And so we were very blessed. It comes at a cost, obviously. You learn that it is a 24/7 operation. You roll in Sunday evening at 3 a.m. and you are up at 6 a.m. to go to school. If that's the lifestyle you choose, then you commit to it and do it. That being said, that's probably where some of the workaholic comes from. With everything we do, lazy is not in the vocabulary. It hasn't been from a very early age in my household. It wasn't an option. So I moved to college. I have an animal science degree. Was supposed to go to med school, got accepted, decided to swap gears. Turns out it was the correct choice. It only took my mom about 5 years to not be mad about it. And I joke around all the time and tell everybody we're still right where we're supposed to be. The good Lord has a plan if you just allow it to happen.
That's awesome. My mom was animal science, and she actually got accepted into vet school as well, and ended up going with my dad out to Colorado, and they went the rodeo route, and it's all worked out. It all works out. But that's
right where you
fun.
need to
So
be. It just doesn't make sense sometimes.
yeah. So Dylan, tell us about your background there.
Yeah, mine was a little different. I grew up running cattle and farming from a young age. My dad was a banker, worked in town, real small town, just farming community. All of our neighbors around us farmed. Everybody run kind of cow-calf operations there in
And you were
East
in the
Texas.
Texas. Are you in the Panhandle? Okay,
No,
Texas.
East
Yeah,
Texas, Northeast
East
Texas.
Texas.
Yeah,
Okay.
lot of dairies, a lot of chicken houses over in that area, and then smaller cow-calf operations, row crop farming. So I grew up more on the farming and cow-calf side, but small operations. Grew up didn't have a big interest in sports, the farming and the ranching and cattle operation, and honestly just working. I grew up kind of watching my granddad, and I spent a lot of time with him growing up, and he was one of the hardest working people I've ever met. You kind of hear just the old war stories of him growing up, of carrying drilling mud sacks on each shoulder, and he could do what three other grown men could do, and you always just kind of aspired to fill half of his shoes. Um, we got in early age. Real good family friend of ours had rodeo production, so I kind of veered that route and left some of the farming behind, and I was a lot more interested in the rodeo side of things. We were doing a lot of rodeo productions and stock contracting. Through my early teens, mid teens, that was it. I mean, it was all day, every day, every weekend. We were hauling to a rodeo somewhere because we're doing productions. You start preparing for a Friday, Saturday perf on Tuesday. You get home Sunday night, kind of unpack everything Monday morning, start washing clothes, and then repacking to leave out Tuesday again. So a lot of traveling up and down the roads, but not really so much of a family style, more just a fast-paced rodeo community and working. Um, Got into high school, really knew that I needed to be working more, kind of had an appetite for motorcycles and nice trucks and things like that. So had to do a lot more working, but welding, designing, did a lot of, I had a small welding business from high school, I guess my freshman year of high school on. Building, rehanging gates, fixing panels in dairy barns and chicken houses, local farmers, H braces, fences, entryways, things like that. That carried on through into college. Had the welding business all through college, doing the same stuff pretty well. Kind of pushed my way through college doing that. Probably didn't go to class near enough because I was too worried about working. But they decided to give me a piece of paper anyway, so I've got a mechanical engineering degree there at Oklahoma State as well. We met in college our freshman year. Kind of knew each other, ran around kind of the same group of friends, same groups of friends all through college. So we started dating after college, and it didn't take long to fall in love with her. She was one of the only people I've ever met that could probably outwork me, and
I
I
was
had a
gonna
big
say she can keep
appreciation
up
for
with
that.
you. Yeah, well, that's created what you guys are today, the long list of involvements that you guys have. So you do have a daughter, so you said you have a 5-year-old.
She
Awesome.
is the
So
coolest.
is she? She has to be. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
She's by far the coolest thing we've ever done.
Awesome.
without a doubt.
She is all go and no woe. She's kind of double bred for it. And she is very opinionated.
She
And
gets that from her mother.
that's true.
Sure.
When I will say, when she gets her mind on something, there's very little stopping her. She will figure out who to manipulate to get it, or how to earn it one way or another. And has been that way since she's probably 2.5, really. But we've decided instead of breaking it, we just try to sculpt it into productive things.
Embrace it. Yeah.
Some of the stories would probably make some people flinch, but we're pretty proud of.
That's awesome. You got to have somebody to help you with all these businesses someday, you know.
We hope so. It's not going to be just given to her by any means.
Good.
I don't feel that we've had much of anything given to us. We've worked dang hard for everything we've got, and we've kind of done it on our own terms. We're very blessed, very fortunate.
Good Lord and a good banker.
Yep.
There you go.
But
And so
same way
you
with her,
guys,
we want to
you're
give
fine,
her
go
a
ahead.
skill set and teach her and mold her, but then she's not going to just work for us.
No.
She's going to get kicked out into the real world one of these days too, and hopefully sink or swim and hopefully succeed. And I guess hopefully we've built something at that point down the road when she gets that real world experience. She decides and wants to come back home and be part of it, then there'll be something for her to come home to.
That's a good plan. I like it. Okay, so let's go into a little bit about your guys' businesses. So, like I said before, you guys are involved in a handful of different operations. One of them that was really unique that I know Dillon and I had kind of talked about is the 12s, your agro-tourism business. You know, I have a friend here in Hutchinson who ended up staying at your guys' place, and sending me it's telling me that there was a rawhide out front. And I didn't even realize when she texted me that it was you guys until I talked to Wyatt, and Wyatt's like, that's Dillon and Morgan's place. And so I started researching it. So tell us a little bit about the 12s and how you guys got into that.
That was just a little advertising plug we were doing there. It didn't really have any purpose other than
It was a good fence block, is what it was.
Hey,
that's right.
We're glad. Put it wherever you want. That's great.
So we had the opportunity several years ago to buy a half section that butted up to our home place. And in true farmer rancher fashion of how do we make the payments? I don't want a housing addition here. So how do we make a half section make its payment? And up until the last couple of years, cows was not the answer. And so we looked at it. It had there's several barns, a working facility, a very neat 2-story Dutch barn on it. And there was a house, very nice, big 5-bedroom house on it. I'm very fond of my little house here. And I told Dillon, I was like, we obviously don't need the house or the barns. What do we do? And he said, I don't know. What do you think we want to do? And I said, well, I want to have a wedding venue like I wanted to do in 2015, and you wouldn't let me. And so he said, you know what? If that's what you want to do, how about it? So I called my best friend, and we went to college together here at OSU. She's from upstate New York. And I said, hey, you know that really cool 2-story barn on the other side of the mile section? She said, yeah. I said, we just bought that place. I need you to come down here and help me figure out what we're going to do. She showed up and she said, what about agro-tourism? Which in Oklahoma has not been a thing up until about the last 7 or 8 years. And they're wasn't even a division in the Department of Ag here in the state. And since the last 7 years, they've really made a hard push. And thankfully, the good Lord has blessed me with friends from upstate New York who grew up with agro-tourism daily. She comes from a sheep production background where they did farmers markets right outside New York City, and did farm tours for the last 25 years. And so I had some guidance there, and the 12s was created. So instead of doing a wedding venue necessarily, we have an agro-tourism event center. We host anything from birthday parties to weddings. Every fall, we have a pumpkin patch that we host. We do some 4-H and FFA school group things, and do some agricultural education items. We've got a couple of cattle sales on the books for people to bring in livestock and display there. So we kind of have a little niche market of odd and end things. That's not just a wedding venue.
That's cool. And so when they had the concert in Stillwater, the boys from Oklahoma, that was when my friend stayed there, and she said it was beautiful and it was a great place, and you guys were riding around on your side by sides and helping everybody, and so that's cool that you guys got involved with that. I'm sure that was handy for a lot of people.
That was a right place, right time move. We were gearing up for the pumpkin patch when they released that they were going to have a concert, and it started off as kind of a joke of, let's just have a pasture party here. Let's pre-party it. And a small joke turned into 358 campers being on our property.
And then you had live music, right?
We had live music. We had 358 campers. We had 4 days worth of bands. We had a full-blown bar, food trucks, hoodies. We sold out of hoodies the second night. It was a good little adventure. It was organized chaos at its finest.
That deal originated when we first saw the press releases or the teaser releases from CCR that they were going to do something. And we were sitting around at the kitchen table one night, and I saw them do a little pre-release teaser. Big news is coming tonight at 10 or whatever it was. But I noticed that in the bottom corner of it, it had an OSU watermark on it. And I knew the only way they're going to have that OSU watermark is if they're doing something with OSU. And then it dawned, they've got to be doing a concert. Those guys, a lot of those guys are local. A lot of the guys from those bands are
Absolutely.
local. We know quite a few of the guys in several of the bands that are local here. They own, welding businesses or supply businesses or whatever. We do business with those guys. They're just kind of good hometown guys. Great people, great families around here locally that help contribute to the community. But when we saw that, the big running joke is everybody comes to a town like Stillwater to go to college, right? I moved up here from Texas. She came from Southwest Oklahoma. You go to school for 4 years, you move off to your forever home. We never left. And we're the only ones that never left. We don't have any friends still here that were our age in college. So the Ramblin' S is Satterwhite Hotel.
Yeah.
We've got one spare bedroom, and pretty much 4 weekends out of the month, we've got somebody staying in that bedroom that's passing through town for a wedding or an event or something to do with school. If they were in the ag side of OSU, they're back in for a conference or something. So, of course, as soon as they did the release that they were going to have a concert here, we had, 125 people text us, hey, on XYZ date, we want to stay in that back bedroom. No, we're not doing this. We're not going to pick and choose through our friends. Well, then we've got some friends that kind of live on a little looser terms. They were like, hey, look, we'll just pitch a tent in your yard. What if we just come up and sleep in the backyard? And I'm like, no, not doing that either. And then it clicked. What if we have a full event center over there? We have our beer and wine license. We've got a place to accommodate that's air conditioned and bathrooms. What if we let them camp over there and we just charge them for the spots? Well, that exploded in a hurry. It got way out of hand way fast. So we thought, 15 or 20 people were going to come stay on the place at the 12s and pitch tents and camp out and hang out together. And those 15 or 20 people did, and then 350 more showed up with like diesel pusher motorhomes to park in the pasture. We weren't expecting that. That one caught us off guard.
Hey, I'll say, it sounds like you pulled it off. Pretty great.
It was a very enjoyable.
The people cannot say enough about the caliber of people, and most of them ag background people. They were so respectful and clean and organized. They worked with us, when traffic was backed up, we were trying to get people parked. Nobody complained. Nobody got upset. They just went through the motions. They did what was asked of them. And then, they were super respectful of the property. We pushed all the cattle to the other side of the mile section, and we were as raw form as it could be. We were just parking them in the pasture. But everybody seemed like they had a fantastic time. And again, I'll say this, there was, we parked people across 160 acres of camping, and two of us walked that entire 160 acres with trash bags on Sunday midday, and we picked up half of one bag of trash from 360 camp spots.
That is impressive.
I just cannot say enough. It blew our minds of the hospitality that they gave back to us. We really tried to show them something special in what we've tried to build here, but the respect that we got back. And
we opened up our home to them, and I promise you it was cleaner when they left than it is on a normal Thursday with the housing addition trash blowing across the fence.
Yeah.
It was impressive, and it was very enjoyable.
Kind of restore your faith in humanity a little bit. Everything you see on the news these days, and then you've got 2,000 people standing on our piece of property, and just
we didn't have a fight.
No,
we didn't have anybody get out of hand.
Nothing.
It was
a fellowship.
It was
almost
great.
Of just good, like-minded people hanging out, and it was a fantastic experience.
Oh, that's awesome. I wish I could have been there. After I heard about it, I'm like, hey, I have a camper. We could have come down.
It's funny you knew somebody that was here, that 2 degrees of separation type deal.
Seriously. Well, she's got boys that rodeo, youth rodeo, and she sent me a picture. Hey, I saw a rawhide this weekend. So I'm thinking, where are you rodeo and where are you at? And so she told me where she was at. And luckily I turned to Wyatt and said to Wyatt, where it was. And it all kind of transpired from there. I'm like, hold on, Jenny. That is one of our dealers that you're staying at. So that's pretty cool. Well, good. So where did you get the name, the 12s? Where's that come from?
The 12s. So Megan, I met in 2012 and at OSU. And then our daughter's birthday is 12/12. And her weights and times and everything multiplied or added up to 12. And we got to looking through different things, and that number in life just kept coming up. There's 12 apostles, and there's a few other events in our life that it also doesn't offend anybody.
You're winning there.
So we just went with it. It was cool. One of those things Megan and I kind of joked around of, let's just go with the 12s. And we kept trying to come up with an actual name for it. And the 12 stuck. And Dillon approved, which is huge.
Hey, that's a win.
I've got enough on my plate. She wanted to do this deal. I told her to run with it, and they got serious and ran with it in a hurry. So I'm just along for the ride. I make sure that the beer fridge is stocked over there and the gutters are clean. But outside of that, I try to stay out of sight, out of mind.
Every time he shows up, I've got a project for him, so he tends to hide out.
Understandable. Okay, so that's the 12s. And then, I think we talked a little bit. You've got your top hand ag equipment, and then you have the top hand field services. And so you're involved with kind of the oil and gas industry with that. Is that correct?
Yep. Oil and gas, and then a lot of municipality work and environmental work. So we started out in 2015, oil and gas, because we had the ends. We both worked for oil field service companies or oil field production companies, and we kind of had the experience, the clientele, and the contacts to start a business there. And we did, and very blessed from it. We've done well, and it's been fun. We've met a lot of really great people, but the ups and downs, the volatility of the oil and gas, we've been through a couple busts now, and so we wanted to try to get into something a little more stable. Mostly because you look up 10 years in, and we've got some employees that have been with us 8 or 9 years now.
Yeah.
They've been with us, since that first year or two in business, and it's like I can't rely on just the oil and gas sector to keep these people employed. We go to the kids' birthday parties, and we have Christmas parties, and we're so intermingled now that we're families, and we are one big family with some of these tenured employees. I can't let something like slow down in the oil and gas market lay them off and put them in a hard spot any more than us. So we decided in 2018 to diversify up and look at some other avenues, and that's
really pushed in 19.
Yeah, 19. We went with municipality, looking at working for water districts, big electric cooperatives, natural gas supplies, fiber optics, and telecommunications. We took a skill set and we just put it into some other markets, and it worked out.
Same equipment, same crews,
same manpower, same equipment, just different applications, and that has been a blessing in itself. It's been a good fit for us. So that business still is running and gunning. We have a fantastic team. The girls in the office, our office manager, Victoria, and then our operations manager, Cameron, and just some fantastic crews that have allowed us to do some of these other things that we want to do because they carry the brunt of that. They turn to us when they need some advice or an opinion, or how should we approach this? Maybe I've seen this experience and so hasn't, but the day in, day out operations, they do a very good job of carrying that load for us and allow us to kind of look at doing some of the other things that we're passionate about.
We tell everybody that everyone's replaceable in business, including Dillon and I, and we have proved it. We have Victoria and Cameron.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, they do a fantastic job, and so that was the initial business, and that's carried the majority of the rest of it. But
he's not telling you is he decided to be a business partner with me before he ever decided he wanted to marry me. I think that was a trial run, to be honest with you.
It's a bold move right there.
We were in business almost a year before we were engaged.
Yeah.
I said,
well, she proved herself.
We could run business together, so we decided we could probably make a marriage work.
And then another 2 years before we actually ever took a vacation and went on a honeymoon.
That's the truth.
We were so poor and broke and working so hard 7 days a week. It was 2 years after we were married before we ever got to take a vacation.
Well, I hope it was a good one.
It was a good one. We had a good trip. So,
good.
Yeah.
Good.
It's been a wild ride and a great experience over the last decade. But it's been a lot of fun. We've learned a lot of things. We've learned a lot of things the hard way. We have made a lot of mistakes, and we've trial by fire, and
it just costs money.
But invaluable experience, and something that we can hopefully pass on to others, and we pass on a lot of those lessons to our daughter, and hopefully back her as she grows into her own individual self to succeed, and maybe shield her from some major heartbreaks of just whatever comes in life, because we've seen some of those experiences.
Yeah. Part of what makes you guys so successful is just on top of your background and everything that you've been through. I think it's cool that you've been able to keep so many businesses going, and you're still here running them. You didn't go under. You're still doing it.
Good Lord, and a good banker.
I'm only 35 and half gray-headed. It's not too terrible.
No, it's not bad. Well, I definitely think that it helps, our customers when we send people your way, knowing that you guys have this personal background in ag, you have your own cow-calf operation, you've used our product. just how hard of workers you guys are. It's we can confidently send people to you and say, hey, they're going to take care of you, and we know that the people come straight to you, they're in good hands, and so that definitely helps on our side of things. So we appreciate it. A little bit about, I'm trying to think of how I want to say this. Going into it, I wanted to I know you have a couple other companies. Do you want to highlight on, like the meat processing of that? Do you want to say anything about those? I can cut this part out, but I wanted to see what all you wanted to talk about today.
Oh, doesn't matter.
It tied to sit back in. So everybody kind of, when you tell them what all we do, they're like, I don't understand. And I'm like, well, they really all tie in together.
Okay.
The ag equipment and field service, there's multiple lines we carry where they cross over. The meat processing plant is no different. The same customer base that is bringing us, we're a custom plant. So it's all farmers and ranchers coming in because they are selling their meat direct to customer. So those customer paths cross again there with the ag equipment and the meat processing plant. It's also the plant that I grew up using. 4 generations worth of my family have used that plant. Probably more of a sentimental thing. I couldn't see it. I couldn't stomach seeing it go under during COVID. Cecilia was 86 when we bought it. The plant's been open since 1906.
6 or 7.
7's what paperwork says. Legal paperwork, we have documentation of 1906 stamp things. We're the 4th owners. So that's huge for us. And just to see it stay alive, not see it just be lost. There's days that I cuss it about everything else.
So what is the name of your meat processing plant? So let's go there. Like, what's the name of it, and then where is it at? Is it in Stillwater?
No, so it is in Lawton, Oklahoma. Okay. And it is Lawton Meat Processing. That's been the same name since 1907. And which, like I said, that's hometown for me. That is, I'm from Elgin, just 20 miles north of there. My mom grew up 20 miles southeast of there. So that's where 4 generations on both sides of my family have used as a meat processing plant my entire life. That's where we took our show steers at end of season. It's just a little bitty, it's nothing fancy. It is not huge. It is just a good small town, hometown butcher shop. And it does, like I said, we have multiple businesses, but they all tie back in at some point to each other. And all of them come back to that ag sector. Between the 12s, Lawton Meat Processing, our Airbnbs are here on our home place on the ranch. We've got 4 Airbnbs now, right here on the mile section. And so that all goes back and ties back in together.
Well, the same, the ag community is a small community. And, our CPA that runs all the books for the businesses, he uses this for bell beds. He uses this for corrals and feed bins. Mm-hmm. He does our CPA work, and then he turns around and butcher steers through the kill plant. A lot of other people, a lot of our friends here locally, it's 2.5 hours to the kill plant from here. There's a lot of other kill plants between Stillwater and Lawton, but Morgan goes down on Mondays to run payroll or order supplies, things. We tell everybody, hey, we'll haul them down there with you. If you've got a kill date set, we'll schedule it in for Monday morning or Sunday evening. Come in, drop them off at the holding pens at the house. We'll haul them down there. We'll process them in 2-3 weeks whenever everything's packaged and ready. She's down there on a Monday. She'll bring it back and we'll deliver it straight to your house.
That's awesome.
It's not all about money there. It's more of a turnkey operation and helping out our friends, right? Providing them, you know that you're getting your meat. You know that you're getting your product. It was packaged correctly. The orders are done right, and we can provide a fantastic service, and we know that you're getting what you're paying for. With the 12s, we've done some farm to table events,
absolutely.
Some Valentine's Day date nights and fall events, spring events. So, we were feeding out steers We're feeding out steers and on our cow calf operation for our own meat, and then we're sending them off to get processed somewhere. Well, now we own that as well, and so
Just vertical integration at
yeah,
that point.
so kind of a neat thing from conception to consumer, in house. We can provide every step of that to a customer, and that's, I guess, hopefully a unique experience for some people. We have a lot of people come out of the big cities, out of Tulsa or Oklahoma
Absolutely.
City,
Or Kansas City.
or Kansas City for some of our small events, our farm to table events, and it's like you can take home raised beef that we raised here, we fed out here. You can look at mom and dad grazing in the pasture. We butchered them. We own the event center, and then we can provide this 5-course, kind of date night,
Little bougie meal.
event, and that's conception to consumer. So pretty neat to be able to handle all of that in house.
That's great. And I have noticed with our customers and a lot of people that we know, there is a lot more of, processing your own meat to sell direct to consumer. And
100%.
I'm bringing on somebody next week in the podcast, and they're in Idaho, and they've gotten really big, Thomas Cattle Company. But that's what they started, just doing everything themselves. Everything's raised, getting it processed. And so I think that's something you're going to see more and more of now.
Well, something that I kind of hinted towards earlier was the stuff that we sell being a superior product, a real high-end product, good product all the way around, right? From the meat to the rawhides to the bins. The people that are coming in and looking for a set of rawhide portable corrals, a processor, a classic, the windbreaks, whatever it might be, those are people that understand you have to spend money to get quality, right? They're paying for a great product, not just whatever was the cheapest option this month. And so those people are the same farmers and ranchers that are going to demand a little bit better beef. We don't want the stuff that the big box stores are shipping in and importing from South America. We want homegrown American raised beef. I think that clientele and customer, they're just demanding the best, and so
they're also the same customers when they go to a steak dinner, expect a dang good steak.
You better not drop the ball there, right? Yeah, invite them over for a weekend, barbecue
Sometimes
or cookout.
It's safer to cook them chicken fried steak instead.
For sure, that's a tough one.
No, it's just a good caliber of customer. Those are people that care. They're good stewards of the land. They're probably excellent cattle operations within themselves, and so they demand a little bit more and they expect a little bit more because they're putting in that same level of effort, and that's who we're doing business with.
Exactly. Well, I have loved getting to know our customers and our dealers and everybody involved, like with the rawhide side of ag, because I just always say on here, I mean, it's just such a unique community. Everybody's working hard. People are kind. People are respectful. You kind of know what you're getting with everybody. And that's part of what started, the podcast and wanting to travel around is I just want to talk to people and hear their stories and how they started and what got them going. And maybe something that people hear from our podcast today can motivate them to say, hey, I'm going to go do direct to consumer with my beef. I'm going to start this or start that. And I think it'll help people. It's just exciting to see the ag community.
It can't hurt anything.
Yep. And you two are a great example. I think I've loved learning about you guys and just how involved you are and hard workers, man. Just hard workers. We appreciate it.
Go ahead.
Anyway, I was going to say, you go ahead if you have something you want to say.
Long-term wise, we love, I guess I really love the ag equipment side more than anything. It's something I'm passionate about. I said earlier, I like flipping equipment. I like buying tractors or trucks or trailers or this or that and fixing them up and selling them. The ag equipment side and the new product side goes hand in hand with that. It's the same customer base. And it's because we're doing good, honest business that, a guy that I had bought a used trailer and fixed a few things and cleaned it up and sold it. It's the reason he's coming back and buying a new set of rawhides from us because it didn't take advantage of him. They understand that we're going to stand behind it. But the caliber of customer is just really top notch. We've been in the oil and gas and the municipality and all the different facets, and the ag community is when they call, they expect you to answer. Now you better answer the phone because they need something, but they are good people and they're easy to deal with, and
Absolutely.
it really makes it fun. To be able to build those relationships with those customers, like you said, and it'd be cool to be in your shoes because of such a bigger customer base that you're getting to see than just our customers. The 12s is something she was really passionate about, and I hope that she continues to work towards and grow. The ag equipment side, we've got some more tricks up our sleeve because we've got big plans for the next couple of years.
That's exciting. Well, hopefully people listening to the podcast will learn about the 12s that maybe didn't know about it, and anybody in Stillwater. And I always like to ask dealers on the podcast, okay, so we send a customer to Stillwater, they're coming to pick up their Corral. Everybody kind of knows that it's a college town. You have kind of the college and everything there, but what's a place that you would send people that they may not think to go to eat or anything like that?
Our favorite would probably be the Ranchers Club, which is
which is on campus.
Yep, it's through OSU, so it's their dining and culinary arts school that runs that restaurant.
Hotel management does all the waiting.
Oh, it's top notch. I mean, you can go to downtown Kansas City or Dallas or Oklahoma City and spend a lot of money in a top high end steakhouse, or you can come here to Stillwater and you can have just as good of an experience. It's an exceptional place. Neat experience overall.
Now, that being said, probably our most frequented spot is not in Stillwater. It is 6 miles the other direction, south into Perkins, and it is Cedarwood Market. Them girls have it's delightful. It's a little sandwich shop with a salad bar, and it's amazing. There is nothing better than that.
Well, that's not too far away.
No, it's right down. It's half the employees out of the shop or the office. That's where they go 1 or 2 days a week to eat. It's just it's kind of simple as far as it's a sandwich shop, and a bakery, a group of local women, and some young girls, 2 sisters that own it, and they're young, they're hungry, they're very driven and motivated, and they are hard workers.
If you come to the pumpkin patch and have a cookie and fall in love,
or pie,
or cake, them girls supply us with all of our baked goods during the pumpkin patch.
And
cool.
That's such a hardworking family, fantastic people, very, very good people. And those sisters, they've always got a smile on their face. Anytime you walk in, they're just smiling ear to ear and say hello and greet you when you walk through the door. So makes it fun to hop in and just kind of get a good, simple, light lunch because you're supporting a small business of some entrepreneurs that work hard, and so we sure enough try to support them anytime we can.
Oh, that's exciting. I'm gonna remember that next time I'm down there.
No, I mean if we could say anything, no customers are too far. Obviously, from Rawhide standpoint, y'all have a dealer network, but our area is rather large. And one thing I tell the customers, and I don't think we've had but one customer come and pick up their corrals, is between myself or Carson, who is running sales for us as well on the ag equipment side. One of the two of us is going to deliver that rawhide product to you, or the bell beds and things are different because you come to us to get them installed anyway. But when you buy a set of rawhides, the absolute last thing I want you to do is get somebody hurt or tear something up because you just don't quite understand how something works or operates. So when you call us, we're going to make sure that we deliver that thing to you on site. If you want to stick around and work the first set of cows, we'll typically do a half-day demo or something. We're going to show you how to fold up, fold out, out of travel mode, set your rawhides up, how everything functions, double checking everything on them, and make sure that the customer is competent by the time we leave, that they know without a doubt how to operate that system. So number one priority, they are safe when using them, and
Sure.
that's peace of mind on our end. But no customer's too far for us. If you need something, we've obviously had some customers, special circumstances, right down in Texas and Missouri, Kansas. It's like, hey, if we got to jump in the truck and take off 7 hours to go drop this thing off, that's what we're going to do. And then I'm going to offer to take you to lunch, and I'm going to spend an hour, 2 hours with you going through it, bare minimum, so that you know what you're getting. And it's good for us and Rawhide, because we can showcase, hey, look at the craftsmanship, look at the quality here.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
When they Rawhide has evolved over time, the same as Hydrobed, and I'm always proud of them for it. They see something that maybe could be done a little bit different or a little bit better through failure, through trial running, and they fix it. They update it, they modernize, and they say that they don't go into it with closed-minded that, nope, this is just the way it is. We make this product, and this is how it is. They evolve with feedback from the customers, and it is refreshing. And kudos to y'all, your family, and the organization you've got. Because get somebody coming in.
Of course, you're busy.
Because it's just fantastic customer service. So thank y'all, because you make it easy. The customers make it easy, but from the OEM side, Rawhide makes it easy.
Yeah.
Your mother's a saint. Every time I call her, she's just excited to talk and answer any questions I have. Wyatt when he's not on the road. So awesome team. Kudos to y'all. I'm very proud to be part of it. Look forward to what the future brings.
Yeah, well, we appreciate you guys the same, and I think it's great that you do those demos with the customers. We always say once you've used your Rawhide once, things make more sense. It's so easy to use, but there's just that little bit of just understanding the folding and just how to do it the first time. And so, we do the same thing at the shop when people come to get it from us, is we try to have a demo out there and just show them how to do it. And once you go through it one time, you're set. It's just, so doing that demo is huge for people. I hope they really appreciate that.
Oh, I think they do. It's a lot of fun. It's rewarding, right? You see them, you see them when they write a check and they've made a big purchase, and they say, man, they're a little bit nervous. We hope this was the right choice for us. And then an hour later, we've run 30 or 40 head through this thing, and you see the smile on their faces. Two brothers or a dad and a son are looking at each other like, oh, this thing's even better than I thought it was. And it's like that makes it all worthwhile.
Yeah, no, it definitely does. We enjoy getting that feedback from people. It lets you know that what you're doing is the right thing and you're doing it the right way. And so
absolutely,
we appreciate it. Good. Well, I appreciate you guys. Thank you for letting me take some time out of your day. I know that your time is very limited with everything going on. I guess last question, I've been asking some of the dealers, if you had to pick a Western, what's your favorite Western?
Oh, that's the easy one.
Yeah, mine's Tombstone. Hands down. That's the only Western for me. There's a bunch of good ones, but that one's at a whole different level. I can pretty much quote it end to end. I'm hooked. I could watch it every night.
I'm fairly certain our daughter can quote half of it.
Yeah.
Well, excuse me. So I think I've picked up that question basically for my dad. I grew up watching Westerns. He makes his grandkids watch old Westerns, and he goes old. So I'm like waiting to see if somebody comes up with one that I can tell him about. Tombstone's a good one. That's a good one. Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for taking the time. And, to everyone listening, shout out to Dillon and Morgan. They're involved in a little bit of everything in Stillwater, but if you need something in Stillwater, I think you got to go through them. Give them a call and they'll set you the right way if they don't have it themselves. So, all right. Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Heather.
Thank you. Have a good day.
No problem. Have a good one.